Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Lights Out Lounge podcast. I am one half of your host, Jayden. To my right is the great Brianna Ross. Hello.
Hello, how are you all feeling after that race? A bit more excitement, finally.
I feel better.
This is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah. That's what you call a Formula One race.
So much to talk about in today's episode. So let's dive straight into it because unlike last week, this is going to be a big episode.
It's going to be a big episode. I can already tell you guys our notes for the Japanese Grand Prix review took up a quarter of a piece of A4 paper. This is loaded this week. Just
loaded and ready to go.
Ready to rumble.
Last week literally just said Max won.
Yep. That was it. Max won. Lando did some lawn mowing. That was it.
That was it. That was everything.
Yep. It all kicked off in Q1 with a shock. Alexander Albon, P16.
Was not expecting that.
No.
That was a shock.
Considering where Carlos qualified and got into Q3, that there from Albon is an absolute shambles. Yeah, so eliminated in Q1, we've said Albon. We've got Lawson, Bortoletto, Stroll.
Obviously.
Oh, no shock there. Ollie Behrman last. Yeah, and with Behrman being P20, where he finished in the race, which we'll get into in a bit, very impressed.
Very. That was hot.
It was indeed. Now, Q2. We had to get some sort of debris flying this weekend. And we got it with the other Haas.
Yeah.
Ocon.
Was not expecting that if
No.
I had to choose someone.
Yeah, look, that's a strange sequence of corners as well. Where he went off, I thought the hit was big. You know, when they pan to the camera, you see his car just scattered everywhere. The hit wasn't actually that big. But what happened was his tyres either went up to temperature or he's put his foot down to the floor too much, and the car just went, oh, I can't handle that. I'm going to go into the wall, which is what he did. Couldn't set a time. And then...
All right, your Q2 eliminations were Doohan, Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Alonso, and Ocon. Any surprises there?
Hulkenberg actually P13.
Yeah.
In the track the Sauber.
Yeah, but was supposed to get a lap time deleted, but it was too late.
There was something like that. I think there was another car that had an issue. But hey, even then, to get into Q2 in that tractor,
yeah,
pretty good.
Not bad.
And then Q3, this is where we had a provisional top 10, and then it got changed because two people were a bit naughty in the Silver Arrows.
Naughty.
Now, would like to preface, Brianna, I've made an error here. On the last episode, I said that the pole time for the Bahrain Grand Prix would be slashed from last year's pole time. And I was incorrect. So Oscar Piastri's pole position lap time was a 1 minute 29.841. Max's was 129.1.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So, wow.
Yeah. So Max Verstappen with a 1 minute 29.179. Now the trend was throughout the year, all the pole lap times from last year were getting slashed this year. So that's why I just went with it. I said, whoever gets pole, they're going to smash it. They didn't. 7/10 slower.
Now, this qualifying brought me a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
A lot. Gasly up there, where'd that come from? You've got Sainz there. Lando Norris, P6. Max Verstappen, shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton all the way in P9.
Yeah.
I could not have predicted that. I mean, I did predict pole position, though.
You did. Congratulations, Brianna. 3 points. Well done. We'll just quickly preface, Brianna, myself, I got a grand total of 0 points this week. And Brianna got 6.
Oh, cool. We're going through that already?
We'll just get to that quickly.
Yeah, just get to that quickly. Yeah.
We really, you just absolutely obliterated me this week.
Well, to be fair, Piastri carried my predictions. I got 3 points for him and Paul and 3 points because he won. Everything else I flopped.
I need to start listening to you when it comes to backing Piastri. I don't think I've done it yet. I might need to do it.
But yeah, you got to back the homeboy, Australia. But, yeah, that's all we got this week for Lights Out Lottery.
Yeah.
Just quickly.
Yeah, we don't even need to go into the other stuff because no points. But then we had a final top 10 due to two people being a bit naughty. As I said before, George Russell and Kimi Antonelli received a one-place grid penalty for entering the fast lane in the pit lane before a restart was confirmed. So this was when Ocon went into the barriers, obviously a red flag. The Mercedes boys just said, let's just wait in the fast lane without knowing what time we're going to get going. You're not allowed to do that.
Nope, naughty.
They just said, look, we want to be out on track first. Let's just send it. Let's just wait there and see what happens. You cannot do that. Therefore, a one-place grid penalty. It's a bit harsh, but hey, the rules are the rules.
Rules are rules. And you know what? If it benefits Ferrari, I'm all for it.
And it did.
For one of them. One of them was too far back to even, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Lewis. But Leclerc, second, that brought me alive again for a little bit. Brought back a bit of hope. Despite Hamilton telling the fans over the weekend, don't expect anything magical.
Now, I've only just heard that from Brianna before starting this episode, and I am shocked to hear that. I didn't hear that on the TV. I must have been on a For You page scroll.
I did not expect 4 races in he would lose complete faith with Ferrari, but it's good to know he's just like the fans, zero faith.
You know, there was always a possibility of this happening, wasn't it? When he signed that deal, and you just think, what if they're terrible?
Yeah.
Now listen, they're not the worst team on the grid,
but the worst of the best.
Yeah. Yep.
They are. Even Max in a team of one is doing better.
Yep. That's depressing.
But that double disqualification did hurt us.
But again, don't bend the rules. Don't be naughty follow the rule book.
That's true. Naughty.
Who do they think they are?
Max Verstappen.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into the race. So there was some action that kicked off before the race even started.
Mr. Norris, you naughty boy. Again, what happened to the rule book this weekend? Just said,
yeah.
The drivers just thought, you know what? What is a rule book?
And who was there to dob him in? Max Verstappen.
Typical.
Game's a game.
Game is the game.
You know what? Cheat.
You know what? Yeah, spot on. But when Max does something wrong, he's always got to defend himself. But when he sees someone else do it, he's pointing the finger straight away. And
he had a bad race start, and I think that's because he was eyeing off Lando breaking the rules.
Could have been. So that was just probably in the back of his mind.
Yeah, too busy making sure everyone's fucking starting properly.
So what happened with Lando? He lined up correctly when he finished his formation lap, and then for some reason just thought, let me just creep up a little bit more, just a little bit. You absolute salmon! What are you doing? So Max was straight on the radio saying Lando's out of position, and GP, Max's race engineer, just said, yeah, we'll pass that on. But they didn't need to because the FIA, the stewards have got sensors. So if your tyres are outside the sensors, you're in trouble. And he got a 5-second penalty.
Which I thought was nicer than what he was gonna get.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a 10-second penalty. It wouldn't have been a stop and go because that's only for if you jump the start.
Yeah.
He didn't jump it. He just parked illegally, that little naughty boy.
All right, lap 1.
The lights go out.
It's lights out and away we go. What happens?
George Russell just got a rocket ship off the line. He had a rocket ship in the back of that Mercedes, and into turn 1, locked up, and then I genuinely thought he was going to hit Oscar.
My heart sunk. But he is known for that, Russell. He's just not careful. Naughty boy.
I think it happened in Monza last year. When he starts on the front row, he will lock up all the time. All the time. He did it in Monza. He had to do that fucking snake maneuver at turn 1 where you got to go through all the polystyrene boards. And he's done it again. But I just realised he didn't even start on the front row. He just got to the front row before the first corner and then just sent it.
But enough about Russell's start though. Lando's, let's talk about that. That was great.
Placed his car in the exact spot he needed to and gained 3 positions. He doesn't care, does he? Just gets his elbows out. I'll
admit, he's a different Lando to last year. He is more in the fight.
Knew exactly where to place his car in that start, at the start, sorry, and went around the outside beautifully, got past, I think he tangled a little bit with Charles Leclerc. It didn't touch him, but just, a little bit of flirtation going on, which is fantastic. And then towards the end of the first lap, one particular RB driver asserting his dominance over the other, Isaac Hadjar, in a place where you can't overtake, really, just sent it on Liam Lawson. Just absolutely gave him the double bird as he went past and just went, I'm better.
As Liam Lawson said, he's not here to make friends, so see you later.
I don't think they'll be friends for very long. Brianna, I think we found our new late breaker, a.k.a. Daniel Ricciardo-esque driver. Andrea Kimi Antonelli. This guy is so late on the brakes. On lap 5, he sent it on Carlos Sainz in a gap that didn't exist.
He's got something special, and I can't wait to see.
His racecraft is immaculate. Carlos actually made a gap for him because I don't know if you saw it, but on the replay, Carlos literally had to turn the steering wheel left to be like, oh my God, he's actually gone for a gap that I've closed. I need to actually give him a bit of space.
Yeah, wow.
Just outrageous. And then when that happened, Max was right behind the pair of them. And then Carlos was all out of momentum because he had to open up, go wide and stuff. And then Verstappen right down the inside on Carlos Sainz, got the door closed, has to go around the outside. Carlos forces him off like a naughty boy. Verstappen still gets ahead, but still has the audacity to complain on the radio, saying he was forced off.
Just so typical, like...
Why are you complaining, mate? You got the move done.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
It's not a race if he's not complaining.
No.
But karma did bite him in the bum with the pit stop. What was that about?
They don't have functioning traffic lights.
Clearly not, because both of them were just horrendous.
So the issue was, for those who aren't aware, the mechanics have a button they push when their job's done. They push a button. They say, "Yep, I've taken the tyre off. I've put the tyre on." Right? They press a button. Now everyone press the button. Now when everyone presses the button, the light goes green, which allows the driver to take off. Now everyone pressed the button, and the green light went to sleep. Didn't wake up. Was in a coma.
Max is not going to like that.
No.
You heard him. Fuck.
Yeah, wasn't happy whatsoever. And he's waiting like, oh, I've gone. But
good to go, yeah.
Am I good? Am I good? And the guy literally had to say, yep, go, like wave him over. And we thought it was a one-off, and then Yuki came in, and the exact same thing.
Exact same thing happened. So
the kings of the pit stops can't sort out.
Something's not going right.
Can't sort out their LED lights. And then now this was an interesting race. Majority of the drivers started on the softs, and throughout the race, Brianna, the soft tyre. This is so rare. The soft tyre, the one that wears out the fastest, was the preferred tyre.
Yeah, shocked. Typical Ferrari. Both did not start on soft.
No, they want to be different. You know what Ferrari are like.
But it did pay off. But yes, the softs did shock me.
And then when the soft tyre stint was over, when the tyres did start to capitulate, everyone comes into the pits. Lando Norris comes in a lap before George Russell to try and do the undercut, which didn't work.
And then I thought Russell was going to undercut Piastri. Did not work.
No. The Piastri's pace all weekend was just top notch.
Yeah, bravo to him. That was impressive.
That was very good. When Russell came out ahead of Norris, I was thinking, God, did Lando make it? Because you could tell, like the McLaren was just so much faster than the Mercedes. I was very surprised when Russell came out ahead of him. What's going on there? So look.
Well, that whole time I was so focused on Leclerc wanting to do a different strategy to what they were saying. He wanted to do a one-stop, I think.
He did. So the team was saying, box this lap, mate. We're going to put you on another set of mediums. And Leclerc wanted to eke out those mediums as long as he could and want, as Brianna said, do a one-stop strategy. But the team were adamant to get him in.
And for once, it paid off.
Finally, Ferrari.
Got the strategy right.
Yeah.
That'd be the first and only time we say that.
For once, the driver was incorrect. Now, I don't think Lewis had any input. I didn't hear him complain on the radio, but Charles was definitely...
He was adamant.
Yeah. He's like, please consider the one-stop, please.
Please. But we saw how the hards were on Verstappen.
Verstappen, straight away, just said, guys, there's no grip on this thing.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. Get me off these tyres right now. Which is surprising. The hards are meant to be the most durable tyre.
So bizarre.
Very bizarre. And then, because of Verstappen struggling... Here comes Kimi Antonelli. Who else to just put the man under a bit of pressure? Who else than the main man himself, the 18-year-old upcoming engineer? This is something to gloat about at school on Monday.
I was just about to say, schoolboy by weekday, overtaken Verstappen by weekend.
Oh, it just made him look like a rookie. How much aura did he gain? For those who didn't see it, Antonelli goes one way on Max. Max closes the door. Antonelli sort of just backs off, waits for the corner to arrive, and then completely switch back him and make him look like an amateur. I mean, that takes balls to do that. You're a 4-time world champion, and you're 18 years old, and you've just said, hey, mate, fuck you, watch this. God.
I am excited to see what's to come with Antonelli.
Yeah. In that little lull where nothing really happened after that move from... Antonelli and Verstappen were thinking, okay, now the Ferrari boys are starting to pick up some pace.
They're starting to cook.
Now, on those mediums, they've warmed up again. Obviously, they have to stop again because they started on mediums. You know the rules. 2 compound tyres. Shout out Bevo. You know the rules. Now, as Hamilton is about to overtake Antonelli, he'd already cleared Verstappen at this point. Verstappen, the Red Bull this week. Oh.
Yeah, biggest flop.
Potentially. I reckon it could be Red Bull. They just had zero pace. Now, I feel bad for the TV director when this stuff happened. Old mate didn't know where to go, what to do, where to look. This was the Martin Scorsese special, the absolute cinema. The 2 hands in the air, love and life. There we go. So as Hamilton is about to pass Antonelli on the main straight, Leclerc...
At the same time.
At the exact same time. I didn't know where to look.
Nah.
I was like a deer in headlights, just froze. Wait, where do I go? What happened? So it was good to see Leclerc getting past Lando, but then in the back of my mind, and I'm sure as a Lewis Hamilton fan, you would have been thinking the same thing. What the fuck happened to Lewis? Did they make contact? What happened? Yeah, just a absolute...
That's insane. Finally, some Ferrari action, what we've been waiting for.
Took a while, didn't it?
It did, but do you know what else took a while? Verstappen's next pit stop. That was slow.
That was a joke. So 3 of the 4 tyres come off fine. The front right just said, sorry guys, you can all piss off. I'm having a picnic here. I've got the rug out. I've got the smorgasbord ready. And I'm currently enjoying some blue cheese on Venetian crackers. I'm not coming off.
Nah. He's not going to be a happy boy, Max. Oh,
no, I think that's the worst performance I've seen, and credit to them. I've been watching Formula One for a long time. I cannot remember a blunder like that since, for both cars. We had, obviously, Danny Rick in Monaco. Where are the tyres? That was bad. Both cars having terrible pit stops, and then Verstappen with the front right just being super glued on. Welded even, maybe, I don't know, but that was, again, he lost another 3-4 seconds there. And then again, the lights. So he doesn't know whether to go or not.
Yeah,
Once
they
again,
are
he got
all
cut.
over the place this weekend.
And then a couple laps after that, I cannot remember the lap time. Not the lap time, the lap it was. Yuki Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz. Oh, yeah.
Yuki was driving like a bit of a maniac, though, this race.
I can see why. He's trying to prove himself, but just tone it down a little bit.
Just calm. You're fighting the back.
Yeah. You're fighting Carlos Sainz. Into turn 1, similar to what Antonelli did. except Antonelli did it without any contact. Tsunoda spun just lost grip at the rear, and his rear left tyre just completely destroyed Carlos's side pod. And then 200 metres down the straight, that Williams just began stripping, getting nude, and just scattered debris all over the circuit. So,
I like the way you put it.
well, it's the truth. That's why the safety car came out lap 32 and we had an absolute cinematic moment. Everyone pitted.
Everyone.
Only a handful of drivers didn't because they just boxed, Verstappen being one of them. He's probably regretting that decision now.
Oh, God.
But maybe he did it on purpose. He's like, I'm not having another fucking shit stop like that.
Yeah, no, not
thanks.
embarrassing me again.
No.
But yeah, the Ferraris had no choice but to put the hards on.
They
They
had to.
obviously were wanting to pit later and do softs, but the hards, I was a bit worried. I was surprised the two Mercedes on the softs
Yep.
because I was worried that would not last.
I was thinking, how are they going to get... Even George on the radio. Are
Yeah.
you sure? These aren't going to get to the end.
But Lando Norris said, "What's George crying about?
Yeah.
They're great."
They're fantastic. Again, that's a rare thing.
That
for the
is
softs,
so rare.
For the softs to be...
Because this was lap 32 out of a 57-lap race.
Yeah.
Insane.
To go 20... Well, the safety car was out for about 3-4 laps. To go at least 20 laps... Everyone boxed on lap 14
Yeah.
off the softs. So to go lap
To
20...
give you some reference, yeah.
To go 20 laps trying to hold P2, trying to keep Lando Norris behind. At the time, he was in fourth, so he had to get through Leclerc first. But then we'll get to that later. A lot more cinematic action to come. And then...
The race restart. Norris overtakes Hamilton for fourth, but illegally.
Oh, again, he fucking loves bending the rules.
He does. What was it with this race, with everyone breaking the rules?
Everyone. We had track limits as well. Gross. Lando,
Yeah, we did Hadjar.
We had Hadjar, we had both Red Bulls.
Yeah.
They got black and white flags. I think Lawson got a black and white flag. Illegal once again.
Once again, but yes, he had to give the place back, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, Lando gives the place back to Hamilton, but not before. Carlos Sainz. Now, look, this man got overtaken by an 18-year-old 30 laps before. And he's like, you know what? Nah, fuck this. I'm going to...
Come here, schoolboy.
With a damaged side pod, I'm going to show you what I can do. And he fucked it. Carlos Sainz dive bombs Antonelli at turn 10, locks up. Antonelli, they both have to go off the circuit to not smash into each other. And I believe Carlos was penalised for it, for forcing another driver off the track. Valid.
Valid, very valid. Not so smooth, operator.
No, that wasn't smooth. Wasn't a smooth race from Carlos.
It was not, and I am waiting
Yeah.
for a good race.
He
for
can
him
do
this
it.
year.
We-
He can do it,
We
but
all know he can do it.
just when is it going to happen? And then Norris overtakes Hamilton legally this time.
Couple laps later.
He was on fresh mediums. It was bound to happen. No surprise.
Yep. So on, then there was another lull in the race. Nothing really happening. We're seeing a few overtaking opportunities for the back markers, but you know the race isn't really there. You know, as much as I love to see overtaking from any driver, no matter where they are in the race, they're just edging. A bit like, oh, will I overtake? Will I not? A lot of shifting going on. There was a lot of ankle braking, attempting moves, but didn't work out until lap 45, when I thought genuinely I jumped off the couch in excitement. On the last episode, I said George Russell, for my bold prediction, would retire
Yeah.
from a mechanical issue. On lap 45, now this isn't it yet, but on lap 45, his transponder does some weird shit, and it throws everyone else's gaps off. So everyone's times were not showing up. So the TV directors got rid of the column on the left that you see with all the gaps in between each driver, because it literally froze everything. And they said, we can't operate off this.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So what they were doing to compensate for that, they were showing gaps every 3 laps, like just a freeze frame.
Yeah.
Like Russell's 2 seconds behind Piastri. Leclerc is 4 seconds behind Russell. That's it. So they weren't moving over time. It was just a freeze frame. So yeah, we were just poor Crofty's doing his best to say, oh, from the naked eye, it looks like
Yeah.
George Russell's 2.5 seconds off Piastri. It was just annoying. And then a bit later on, before that, we had a Sainz and Verstappen repeat, but with Leclerc and Norris for the final podium spot. How was that? Leclerc just pushing Norris off into the gravel, just a small amount, but nothing to be penalised over because Leclerc kept all four wheels over the white line, so he's all good there. Then I got very excited because I had flashbacks of me absolutely stealing Verstappen's pole last week, and I was like, yep, that's 3 points. Let me snag another two right
Let
here.
me do it again. And how'd that go? All right, just tell me what happened with Russell.
So George Russell says, very simply, his gears are fucked. That was his radio call.
Simple as that.
I thought my prediction...
Have 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I got excited because, again, that means that Leclerc was hopping on the podium, and it just, again, edged. Nothing really happened at all. And then, again, just driving around a lap of the Bahrain circuit for 5 laps, and Lando had to do something to get on the podium. To get second place. My apologies.
Yeah, McLaren won too.
He had to try something, and he did. On the last lap, with DRS, using his battery, draining the battery, Russell forces Norris to go around the outside, which almost worked, but didn't.
Almost is not good enough.
You have to do it.
Nah.
In Formula 1, you have to do it.
The winner is none other than Oscar Piastri, number 81. Did Australia proud.
Big win.
Solid race. No faults.
No.
He smashed it, and he showed he is championship worthy.
100%.
And he is not afraid to step on Lando's toes. And there's a bit of tension there between them.
Yep.
There is 3 or 4 points between them now.
I think it's 3.
3 points. Nothing.
Should we double check just to make
Nothing
sure
in
we
it.
don't look like absolute morons? But he is seriously showing his worth in that team. I think now, I don't think there should be a number 1 and 2 driver. We are correct, 3 points. I can't wait for this season to just roll on.
I am so excited.
Because when Red Bull were dominating, it was all Max.
Yeah, it was just Max. Now we have 2 number 1 drivers.
Yeah.
Equally as good. 1 race Oscar pole, 1 race Lando pole.
Mm-hmm. And then now, isn't it crazy to think that Oscar's got more wins? Lando won in Melbourne. Then we had Oscar. Then we had Maximus. And now Oscar again.
And if Oscar didn't have that slip up in Melbourne...
You never know.
Yeah.
You absolutely never know.
But I am excited. He's finally brought the gap back together.
Yep.
And we have a real race for that championship on our end.
Did you see the post-race interview with the great man himself, Karun Chandok? Obviously, he wanted to point out to everyone that the milestone win in his 50th race is something quite special. But instead, Karun goes, Oscar, 50th victory in your 50th. And Oscar's like, 50th victory? I wish. And
won every race.
Yeah, he's like, oh, shit, my bad. 50th race weekend, you get a win. And then Oscar being Oscar just goes, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
He's so laid back.
Nonchalant. He is just... Yeah, easy.
He's your go-to. Like, we all know he has a girlfriend, but like, surely that's what a girl would look for in a guy. Just a guy that's just chill, no issues.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever.
He's not insecure at all.
He's not.
He doesn't care what anyone thinks. He just does what he turns up, does what he does, and fucking leaves with a paycheck.
Find me one of those.
Did you see in the cool down room? I love these because the personalities that are in there, especially with Lando, a lot more reactions to a lot more race highlights, which again indicates we had a good race. And Lando was saying like that they showed a slow clip of like Oscar winning the race, and Lando just goes, "Oh, get him off the screen!" Like there was no action there. Like and then he locked up trying to pass Leclerc, and he goes, "What a muppet! Who was that?" He's like reacting to his own highlight. Just a bit of personality.
Yeah,
finally.
he's got. Yeah, it's coming out. It's
Like,
good.
You won't say Max and Lewis doing that back in the day,
No.
or Lewis and Seb, because they're a lot older.
No.
Lando brings that to life. Same with George.
Oh, George is just a character.
George
hey?
got his shirt off.
Oh, when doesn't he?
In the cool down. Like, we're not trying to say that, mate. We go to your Instagram for that. Do not get it off in the cool room.
It's a cool down room for a reason. Buddy.
Yeah, but like you don't have to. I don't need to say the nips. Thank God he didn't show them. But again, like having a shirt, like the McLaren boys didn't do it.
Oh, but it's George Russell. I'm surprised he didn't T-pose with the shirt off.
You know, I was half hoping he would because they know the camera's there.
Oh, but he's just a walking meme. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
I hate him, but I love him.
Yeah.
All right. Can you give me your favorite, like most memorable moment from the race, or who you thought stood out?
Who I thought stood out. I'll say my most memorable moment was 100% the TV director switch up.
Oh,
That was funny.
that was good.
Seeing both Ferraris get the job done. But my memorable, my standout performance, Ollie Behrman.
Yeah. Can we give a round of applause,
Round of
for
applause
Ollie
for
Behrman?
Oliver. P20 to P10, excuse me.
In a Haas.
Ugh,
Naughty.
that is so naughty. He is
He is hot property. Hot.
yeah, he
up
will
and coming.
be. He has this knack for just outperforming that car.
Ollie Behrman.
Yeah.
Insane. Can't wait to, like, all these rookies have, besides Lawson, have intrigued me.
Yep.
My standout,
Please tell me.
he got enough recognition. He got driver of the day, Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Finished behind Charles Leclerc when Charles started second and he started P9.
Mm-hmm.
No faults. I can't fault him. He did very well.
Considering that he was complaining about his tyres as well.
Mm-hmm. It's not a race without Lewis complaining about his tyres, though.
No, we don't even know when he's being legit or if he's trying to bluff the other drivers. But no, that's a fair call.
But yeah, I love to see that. Even though he did tell me to not wait for magic, there was a bit of magic in that. So
There was. Do you have a clip of that?
do I? Yes, of course.
Oh, you do? Because I missed it. I actually want to hear like.
Let me show you, because
What was his tone of voice? Was he like blunt with it?
just listen here.
Oh no.
So what could you say to our viewers waiting something magical from you? What would you say to them?
Don't.
Oh no.
Simple as that. Don't
No.
wait for anything. Just
Don't wait for anything.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
Four races in.
Don't.
Imagine all the little kids like, oh my God, Hamilton, magic. Ooh.
Don't fucking do anything. Just sit back. Don't relax. Don't relax at all. If I can't, neither can you. That's what it sounded like.
How bad? That's bad.
Oh, but you know what?
I love an honest man.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like he doesn't sugarcoat it. He's like,
No.
yeah, don't. Blunt but efficient.
Could have been like, oh yeah, like let's see how the race goes this weekend. Nah, don't. But
You know, that is. Oh, that's a man who is.
that's a man who has been there long enough to know. Don't sell something you can't do.
Yeah, and also that he sounds like frustrated since 2021. He's gone through a lot that aren't in his favour, and this is just adding to the list. Don't.
I gotta feel like he must just be getting sick of the sport.
Yeah.
But new regulations next year, I think that's what's keeping everyone giving a bit of hope, bit of excitement.
If that fails, I think he will.
I think
retire.
next year will be his last year unless Ferrari is up there. When I say up there, I don't mean third, fourth fastest. I mean they are up there fighting for a race win every week.
Yeah. If that is not on the cards, I think he will go, and I'm sure you feel the same. Yep.
I do feel the same. And Alonso should be his last year next year as well. So
Yeah, he's milking it now.
he is milking it, but I think he's got new regulations. Adrian Newey, what can you give me? And I don't blame him for that. But if that doesn't work out,
Yep.
you gotta go.
You gotta go.
That team is just full of someone who's too old taking up a seat and someone whose dad's got a lot of money taking up a seat.
Yeah. Don't get me started on Lance because I'll be here for the next 3 hours. but you are 100% correct. I believe that's it. We will be back very shortly. The last race of our triple header.
How are we feeling, guys? It's been good. It started off pretty shit. We just came off from a high, and I'm hoping Saudi can bring the energy again. And I think it will.
I think it will. It's Saudi has had a lot of good race. It came in 2021. That was a fantastic race. That race was spicy between Max and Lewis. I don't think I will ever forget that. 2022 was Max and Charles Leclerc. That was very good. 23 was a bit naughty. No, it wasn't. It wasn't naughty. It was Red Bull dominance.
Red Bull.
24 again was not naughty. Max delivered, but again, as we've said this year, very, very, very different circumstances, and I think it will be a very good race. We'll get into the predictions on Thursday. But Brianna, just a quick gloss over. Your thoughts on this race? Give me a 3-word summary.
Yeah, I like that. All right.
Give me a 3-word summary of this race.
Spicy, optimistic, and just fun. Whole lot of fun. I had fun.
You know what? That was spot on. That's all 3 words there were correct. Yeah, we got especially optimism. The optimistic phase of that, the side of that, coming off of a shitty Suzuka. Finally, we've got a bit of optimism in the fact that we can get good racing in 2025, and it will come. And it did come.
Give me yours.
My 3 words, I'm going to say enthralling, because it was. Strategic, good and bad, and captivating. My eyes, the whole race, were glued to the screen.
Yeah.
When there wasn't something that was happening, it was fucking George Russell's transponder saying goodbye to everyone and fucking everything else up.
We forgot to mention that he did not get a penalty. What actually happened?
So, good question. That is a great thing to... So, what happened? He got... his race engineer came on the radio and said, "Hey, George, we've got an issue with the DRS." Actually, this is something I wanted to talk about because I thought it was completely different to what it actually is, right? So, he had an issue with his DRS. Now, the issue was because of his transponder fucking up, he couldn't press the DRS until the team were 100% certain he was within a second. Now, they can't see that on the times because his transponder was in a coma, right? So what happened was he apparently opened his DRS outside of 1 second. Now, I'm thinking, and I think a lot of other people might have been thinking, I didn't know that you could press the DRS anytime you want. It's just, again, it's an automatic, it should be an automatic disqualification if you use it where you shouldn't be. But I thought it was like locked until you're within a second of the car ahead in a DRS zone. But from last night, I'm gathering, so clearly that meant that George opened his DRS like in a spot where there is no DRS activated. I thought it was locked. But clearly, you can open it any time you want. It just has to be...
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
That is naughty.
But what did he do? Because didn't he press a different button and activate... I've read so many things.
What I think it was the infringement came when he... Well, the commentator said, and I agree with him, it was that they were speculating as well, that he opened his DRS in a zone that it shouldn't have been. So... Maybe it probably was within the DRS range, but he was probably out of a second. He was over a second behind, but maybe his engineer said, "Yep, okay, press it," and he was maybe 1.2 seconds behind, and he opened the DRS.
So this is what I read and what I heard.
Yep.
Russell claims the DRS opened after he hit the radio button. That's what I heard.
Right.
So that's why it was like car error.
Was it in the DRS zone? I don't know.
And he reckons he gave back the time gained by lifting off the throttle.
Oh, right. So, yeah, that's...
He says, Russell explains, "We were having all sorts of failures. We did an override on the DRS, and on one lap, I clicked the radio button and the DRS opened."
But again, that goes back to my point, because he wouldn't have been within a second of Piastri. So, did the car... Can you enable DRS at any time?
You must be able to.
or was
But I think that's why he wasn't penalised because that's unfair if you're clicking your radio button and bloody DRS is activated. But he claims it was open for a split second and closed it off, backed off, so he didn't gain anything.
Yeah, okay, fair play, George. But yeah, that's what freaked me out because I obviously went to bed as soon as the race finished because I was on 2 hours of sleep, big night the night before. I figured that it was his race engineers saying, "Oh, open the DRS," but you're not within a second of Oscar Piastri. But now I'm completely wrong. And
wow, that's a pretty bad mess up if you're pressing your radio button and bloody DRS is coming on.
well, Leclerc had DRS issues as well. There was a big blip in the system this Grand Prix. Just cars weren't working. Surprisingly, the only man to retire was Carlos. I thought maybe a few people would retire at that phase towards the end of the race. But
After Carlos had his best qualifying of this season, but we are just going on and on and on, and we've tried to wrap up this episode a few times now, and that goes to show you why we do have an F1 podcast.
That's the reason why.
We're going to be back in your ears in just 2 days' time.
Yeah.
So
to break down the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, I'm looking forward to it. Brianna, I know you are as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be spicy and it's going to bring the energy.
Yeah. It is going to be naughty 50 laps around the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Jeddah Corniche circuit. That doesn't sound Saudi Arabian. Jeddah does. I don't know about Corniche. Anyway,
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
And we will see you then.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye. Take care. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. See you later.